Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news. President Trump has just fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, his top military advisor. He made the announcement on social media. Quoting from his post, "I want to thank General Charles C.Q. Brown for his over 40 years of service to our country, including as our current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's a fine gentleman and an outstanding leader, and I wish a great future for him and his family. I'm honored to announce that I'm nominating Air Force Lieutenant General Razin Caine to be the next chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff."
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here. Right? Fired.
So your boy Trump is out here doing what he loves, firing motherfuckers. So Trump fires top U.S. General C.Q. Brown in major Pentagon shakeup. Okay, this is what's this? Al Jazeera. All right, let's see who this man is real quick. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General C.Q. Brown speaks during a press briefing. So that's what he said. He fired him but thanked him at the same time. "I want to thank General Charles C.Q. Brown for his over 40 years of service to our to our country, including as our current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff." Cap, he ain't the current. "He is a fine gentleman and an outstanding leader, and I wish a great future for him and his family." You know, Trump, that's the answer you want to give a motherfucker after you fired him, or after you let them go. That's the answer that's what you want to say to him, motherfucker. Fucker. Ain't nothing will spoil your blood more than getting fired by a motherfucker and them talking about how much of a fine gentleman you are. Brown, a former fighter pilot who has held commands in the Middle East and Asia and the second black officer to take the position, had come under fire previously after his public support for Black Lives Matter in the wake of the police killing of black man George Floyd, making him fodder. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I ain't even gonna front. Let's go with fodder. Making him fodder for the administration's fight against woke culture and the push for diversity. Now, was Brown a diversity hire? Was Brown a diversity hire? I don't know. But back to the Black Lives Matter stuff. For those who don't know how I feel about Black Lives Matter started out with good intentions, meant well, but when you look deeper, Black Lives Matter was funded by non-Black American people, and they were pushing a agenda that had nothing to do with quote-unquote Black Lives Matter. It might as well have been LGBTQ lives matter, and those lives do matter. You know, I was one of those dudes saying all lives matter, but I got down with my people until I found out what this shit was really about, but that's a topic for another day. You know, as a black man in the workplace, you gotta play the game. You gotta play the game. I'm talking to my black people, especially my black Americans, but black people as a whole. You get into an office, you gotta play the game. You know, you go to work and some shit's popping off on TV with some black people. Hey, so Jakeem. Jakeem. So Jakeem, what do you think about what's going on with the killings? They killed that black man. What do you think? You know, part of that is a game for Caucasian people to see what you're gonna say, entertainment and stuff. Something to want to see where your allegiance lies. Your allegiance will always align with your people. That's first and foremost. But you gotta play the game. Do you say, man, fuck them motherfucking cops, fuck them crackers motherfucking cops, man, killed that man? If you want to create bad vibes in the workplace, you do that. Do you totally cower to them and go, man, that nigga deserved it? No, you better not do that shit. But You say, hey man, listen, I ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just here to work. Or hey man, listen, what happened to that man is unfortunate. It's unfortunate the police are put in that situation to begin with. Listen, I got no comments. And just leave it at that. That's what I want you to say. Something along those lines. But I'm not going to be mad at you if you say, fuck the motherfucking cop, the motherfucker shot that motherfucker, man. That nigga didn't deserve that shit. I ain't going to be mad if you say that shit. But think about your job. And you can't be out here being pro anything that's black. You do know that. You could be pro everything else but black. Alright? You could be the blackest motherfucker. I'm not talking about skin complexion. Because most black Americans, as you see, like this man right here, he's brown. Alright? We got people calling themselves brown and they white. They white skinned. But once again, I digress. You can be the blackest motherfucker, afro, dashiki, I don't know, hip hop clothing, I don't know, say nigga every 5 seconds in your household. But out in the streets, you gotta carry yourself a certain way. And it is what it is. Niggas think about it this way. The people that are running shit, they don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to see that shit. So you play the game, but stay on code at all times. So, who was hired in his place? Let's see. 40 years of service. Damn. Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Caine. Dan Caine, I can already smell the mayonnaise. Okay. A look at Dan Razin? Is that Razin Caine? Is he copying off of the goddamn 50 Cent series? Trying to get some street cred, nigga? The fuck? Alright, a look at Dan Razin Caine. Razin Caine, like, I'm on the West Coast right now. They got a whole bunch of Razin Caines out here. Is this nigga eating chicken fingers or what? I don't know. A look at Dan Razin Caine, Trump's pick to be the top U.S. military officer. I never even knew there was a top military officer. That's why I knew I need to be on my shit and get into this, what's going on in the country more. You know, I watch the news and stuff. Like the great Denzel said, you watch the news, you're informed and misinformed at the same time. Raising during a meeting in Arrogance. Get that out of here. Caine retired in December 11th. Caine retired in December. It was not immediately clear what it would take to recall him to active duty service so he could go through Senate confirmation. I think I read something else. They said he was one of the first guys that was taken out of retirement. He hired a retirement. The nigga in retirement over your ass, boy. What exactly did this man, General Brown, do? Let me see if I can find that out. Okay, now this is the BBC News. You know, it's crazy. I gotta go to Sky Australia and BBC to get the real lowdown. You know, everybody's so infatuated in America. You notice that? Like, we don't be watching that Australian news and British news and you know, Middle East. We don't care about that shit. I mean, we'll watch to see what's going on in the world, but we don't really care. These motherfuckers be on our shit. Let's see what he did. His name. Who recently served as CIA Associate Director for Military Affairs. Know what they say about when you're in the CIA? Like the great Joe Rogan says, Joe Great meaning his podcast. You know how much fucked up shit you gotta do to be in the CIA, bro? So it says, General Brown made headlines in 2020 when he spoke out about race following the death of George Floyd. I mean, I'm not really mad at him for doing that, but like I said, Know your audience, know your crowd, know the room you in. I don't know exactly what he said. Let's see, I'm gonna try to pull up that clip to see exactly what he did say. Colin Powell was the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs. I didn't even know that. That's what Colin Powell was. One of Trump's first acts after being sworn in last month was to fire the first female commandant of the Coast Guard. They get rid of all this woke shit. I ain't mad at it, you know. But I want to know, what did the man do? Why is George Floyd's picture? They got so many other pictures of George Floyd. They love using this picture of George Floyd. They love using this picture, boy. Okay. I want to see if I can find a clip of CQ Brown talking about Black Lives Matter shit. Give me one.
A senior leader in our Air Force and an African American. Many of you may be wondering what I'm thinking about the current event.
Nah, man. I'm not thinking about it, actually. Like, if you're on cold already and you've been on cold, I already know.
Current events surrounding the tragic death of George Floyd. I'm thinking about how full I am with emotion, not just for George Floyd, but the many African Americans that have suffered the same fate as George Floyd. And thinking about a history of racial issues and my own experiences that didn't always sing of liberty and equality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about my Air Force career, where I was often the only African American in my squadron, or as a senior.
Hold up. Is he about to cry? I can just picture the white people in the room. The disgust. You know how white people have that face, that look on their face? Shit. Don't do it, Jamal. Jamal, don't say it, Jamal. Damn it, he said it. That's exactly what they was thinking.
Senior officer, the only African American in the room. I'm thinking about the pressure I felt to perform error-free, especially for supervisors I perceive had expected less from me as an African American. I'm thinking about having to represent by working twice as hard to prove their expectations and perceptions of African Americans were invalid.
That's nothing. That's what we all do. I'm not trying to piss on the brother too much. Like, he's stating the obvious. I mean, if this is what got him, quote unquote, canceled, you know, it is what it is. But I'd rather, you know, deal with the consequences of speaking up for myself. You know, especially if I got the bag already. You know he good. He lit. He paid. You know?
I'm thinking about the airmen who don't have a life similar to mine and don't have to navigate through two worlds. I'm thinking about how these airmen view racism, whether they don't see it as a problem since it doesn't happen to them, or whether they're empathetic. I'm thinking about our two sons. Now we had to prepare them to live in two worlds. Finally, I'm thinking about my historic nomination to be the first African American to serve as the Air Force Chief of Staff. I'm thinking about the African Americans that went before me.
You know, I get the emotion. This is one of those things. I don't know how long he actually thought about this before he did it, but this is one of those things where you had to just sleep on it. And if you still were confused about if you should say something, sleep on it again. Ask 5 of your closest associates. You know, the race don't matter. Ask them and see what they think about it. You ultimately have the final decision, but ask them, see what they think about it. Because this is something that, in my opinion, should have been said behind closed doors. Said behind closed doors. I mean, it becomes like a myth. Did he say this? Did he say that? Yeah, he's down for us. Da da da. He put it on blast. I'm not mad at him for that, but it's like you know, they don't play fair. They don't play fair. Now, is this gonna make me dislike Trump? No. Donald Trump still, in my opinion, was the better candidate over Kamala Bear Harris out here with her fake ass interviews. All right. I still believe, and still do most America, believe that Donald Trump is the right fit for this, to lead this country. Like I said in previous videos, in my almost 40 years in this world, I don't get how anybody can be a Democrat. But like, Trump's been in office for how long? January 20th, February 20th, a little over a month. Give him 5 weeks. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna really evaluate Donald Trump at the 1 year mark. That's what I'm gonna make a video. January 20th, 2026. I'll really evaluate what's going on. All right, with Donald Trump. But they also said that they fired a lot of motherfuckers in the Pentagon too. So they making changes, and that's what it is. You clean house. When for all my people that watch sports out there, when a new coach, new owner, new owners rarely change hands, but new coach, new GM, whatever, they come into town, they clean house. I don't want that quarterback. I didn't draft that quarterback. I didn't draft that dude right there. I don't want that head coach. The GM, I want a new head coach. I want a new quarterback. I want a new this. They clean house. So that's exactly what he's doing, all right? So let me know what you think of these comments about this. You think this is fair or foul? I mean, Donald Trump is just doing what people do. You clean house. And, I wish plenty of luck to the brother. But, it is what it is. He's still paid. He lit, man. All right? KJ Media on it.